Hey guys, it's Masatonic. I'm bilingual harpist. 皆さん、こんにちは。バイリンガルハルキストのマサトニックです。Haruki Murakami book guide short story 39, Chance Traveler. So in this book, I'd like to talk about Murakami's short novel, which is called Chance Traveler. Actually, this title reminds me of Paul Auster's another novel, which is called The Music of Chance. Was a little bit slightly the nuances change, but both works, the main theme is chance. So in a way, that name reminds me something similar one. And also, I really like this short story, Chance Traveler. I really like it. So if you didn't, if you hadn't let yet, so I hope this video make you want to lead, or a good opportunity or a good chance to read this interesting book. So let's get started. As always, this video consists of 3 parts. First, overview. Second, story. Third, deep reading. First, overview. This one contained in a short story collection, Blind Willow, Sleeping Woman, 2006, July. And firstly appeared maybe some literary magazine, Harper's, 2005 and July. And on the other hand, in Japan, it's originally contained in another short story collection, which is called Tokyo Strange Stories, 2005 September. So, and unfortunately, as same format, Tokyo Strange Stories, it's not published in English market. Basically, majority of works contained in the Blind Widow, Sleeping Woman as well. Yeah, and the Tokyo Strange Stories is some kind of concept series. Every works contained in this book related to some strange stories which is around Tokyo. So in a way, this Chance Traveler, the Chance Traveler is the first episode of the Tokyo Strange Stories, we could call it. So what kind of story? Let's take a look at it. Story. First of all, in this story, Murakami himself is a narrator, and protagonist is a tuner in Murakami's piano tuning. Murakami is, so in a way, one of his customer, and the tuner is the protagonist, and the tuner talked his story to Murakami. That is a kind of structure. But at the very first part of this short story, Murakami told his own very chance episode, and that story is really interesting, and that is my kind of favorite part of this story. And that story is related to jazz. And when Murakami had lived in US, one day he joined some jazz live concert, and they're performed by the Tommy Flanagan. And then Murakami just in front of the stage and was enjoying wine and listen to Flanagan's jazz music. But unfortunately at that time, at least to Murakami, his performance is not so super good. Of course, it's not so bad, but it's not really good one, not a memorable one. And he thought when just in his imagination, when the Flanagan asked Murakami, which tune do you want to listen as a last two? And then Murakami just think about it, and then Murakami thought, if I propose a request tune, maybe I would request first Star-Crossed Lovers and second Barbados. And as Murakami just imagined, Flanagan just played that two songs in this same order. And Murakami is, of course, totally speechless, at loss his word. And then the performance itself is really, really charming. That is a fast story, just related chance story. And then one thing really interesting to me is Star-Crossed Lovers, which is originally related or inspired by the Romeo and Juliet, of course, but the Star-Crossed Lovers is also featured another Murakami's another novel, which is called a south of border, west of the sun. So, and then in that novel, protagonist Hajime owned his jazz bar like Murakami himself. And when the Hajime appeared in his bar, the jazz bar is sometimes jazz musicians there, and they're doing some live performance. And then when they noticed Hajime, the master of the bar appeared, they played the Star-Crossed Lover because they knew Hajime really liked that music. And then that music itself is a kind of a background music or theme tune for Hajime and Ms. Shimamoto's their relationship or kind of a love story. And that's really very tragic love and sad story. But so in a way, Star-Crossed Lovers like Romeo and Juliet is a kind of metaphor of the, or metaphor, not metaphor, much more really kind of theme of the such a tragic love story. And then that music played in front of Murakami. So in a way, it's connected. And that's really, I think it's really interesting. And also, another jazz related to episode. One day, Murakami bought a old jazz record, which is titled 10-4 at 5 Spot. 5 Spot is a kind of a jazz bar, jazz cafe's name. And then he kind of really pleased because it's a kind of very old one, but still the status is pretty good. And kind of he felt kind of happy. And when he going out to the record shop, and some young man just crossing, just passing, and he asked Murakami, "Do you have a minute?" And then Murakami, "Sure." It's 10-4. It's just the same time of the record. So, and then Murakami is very surprised. It's a very small coincidence, but it's very interesting one. And then these two episodes, it's just the beginning of this story. And like this, some Murakami's acquaintance, in this case, Turner, had such a coincidence or chance story he had. And then he started to talk about his chance story. That is the main part of this story. And the coincidence itself is a very key point. And the tuner is, as a professional tunist, he worked weekend. So his holiday is Tuesday. So as a habit, when Tuesday come, Tuna went to some bookstore and if he find an interesting book he bought, and right next to bookstore's cafe, he enjoyed reading. And one day he bought a Charles Dickens, The Bleak House. At this time he had once read, but he almost forgot everything. So he purchased it and started to read, and he found himself he can't stop reading. And 1 to 2 hours he keep on reading, and when he tired, just went for a toilet and returned to cafe. Some woman sitting next to him told him, if you don't mind my asking, and of course, sure, he replied. And she asked, "It's a book you read is a Charles Dickens' Bleak House?" "Yes, it is," he said. And he asked her, do you like Dickens too? And she replied, "Yes, I did, but and also I read Dickens' Bleak House too by herself." So it's a kind of a chance story. And the same cafe, just sitting not just right next, but almost next to, side by side, and start reading same book, Dickens' The Bleak House. I'm not sure if have you ever read this book or not, but of course Dickens himself is a quite famous classical writer. Even in Japan, Dickens kind of famous for a Two Tales, and also a David Copperfield, of course, and also The Great Expectations there, and Oliver Twist as well. So some works are kind of famous, but it's basically to the, how to say, book lovers or some guys are really graduated from, let's say, a literature majored university, including me, of course. So actually, in my case, I majored in English and American literature, and of course, I have to read a David Copperfield, something like that. So of course, I knew, but I don't think a majority of Japanese, especially these days, but of course, that book is written in 2005, but even that days, became so much, got so much famous. And but still some are, it's not rare case. David Copperfield or Oliver Twist new is known, but the Bleak House, maybe Bleak House is so it's not so popular, or just the majority of people didn't know the existence of the Bleak House written by Charles Dickens. Of course, in Japan, there's a translated edition there, some paperback edition, but it's kind of very long one, and I think it's very rare to read that book. Such a small cafe and side by side. It's super kind. It's a kind of a miracle, and the miracle is a kind of connection to this tuna and a woman shop cafe, and then that's the origin of their relationship. Relationship had started, and on the other hand, he had his elder sister. They used to be very close. But actually, Tuna is a kind of a homosexual gay person, and when he coming out, there caused some trouble between elder sister and Tuna, and after that they are kind of not so close. That is a background of this story, and then this relationship also related to the next or much more huge a coincidence or some kind of miracle. I should not talk about it in detail because it's really interesting, and the coincidence itself is a kind of very key theme in this book. So if you're interested, please take a book and try to read. It's really interesting. I highly recommend it. All right, so how should we enjoy the deep reading? First of all, of course, let's listen jazz, because the first part, jazz, is very much featured. Like I said, star-crossed lovers, Barbados 10 to 4 at 5 spot. And also 5 spot is kind of very Murakami's music, because his another novel, which is called After Dark. After Dark is inspired from the Curtis Frost, a 5 spot after dark. So in a way, 5 spot as a kind of keyword, it's connected to another novel. So in a way, we simply, at least I can't help listening. And I really like Star-crossed Lovers. It's a really nice music. And also let's read Dickens' Bleak House. Actually, I did. When I read, when I finished this one, Chancetravler, and of course, I very much interested in Bleak House. To be honest, it's kind of embarrassing, but as a English literature majored, but I knew the title, The Bleak House. In Japanese, it's called Koryokan. Koryo is a kind of bleak. It's kind of, yeah, the same meaning. It's kind of a direct translation, but that, how to say, that nuance or sound of the Bleak House remind me, just hesitated to take, and it's kind of very long. In Japan, usually such a long book is separated each volume, but still it's got 4 volumes, and each volume has, I don't know, maybe around 500 books, 500 pages, or 400 to 500 at least. So it's, I just hesitated to read, but it's a good opportunity to start to read, and I did. And yeah, it's interesting. It's, of course, it's really long, but it's kind of interesting. I love Dickens. It's such a story. Yes, it's a good chance. And also story related. Let's think about the meaning of the title, Chancetravler. So chance is, of course, it's a key theme of this story, but traveler is kind of interesting choice. Also, we can imagine the protagonist, including protagonist, Tuna, and of course Murakami himself. And so in a way, we could say we are chance traveler, but how it's just my interpretation. It's maybe I think it's up to each readers what's the meaning of the title. So thinking about title's meaning is very interesting way or to deeply read. So let's write. Right, so that's my story. That's all my story. So thank you for watching. I hope this video won't make you to read or read again this very interesting book. Actually, this is my one of my favorite. So I highly recommend it. If you if you had not read yet, it's a good chance. Okay, so and like this, I posted 2 to 3 book guide video per week. So I would appreciate if you subscribe my channel and give me a good rate. Right. So I'll see you next video. Until then, bye.